You know, the dog days of summer may be behind us, and in fact, we may be on the tail end of the season, but it's still summer. Still, with the release of the pumpkin spice latte already, I guess it's not too early to start looking or taking a peek at fall. Besides, you can't have the fruits of fall without what happens during the summer. For example, you can't have a corn maze without growing a whole field of corn. Mazes of maize may be ubiquitous these days, all over the place, but none have been around as long as the one carved out by the Lowe family farmstead in Kuna. And we were there 28 years ago this week for their first ever stroll through silage. Here's John Miller with today's 208 Redial.
Dale Nixon never needed a stairway to get into his cornfield, not until the day Brett Herbst knocked on his door.
Oh, I thought it was a pretty crazy idea. Or maybe he was a little crazy.
Crazy to even ask, "Excuse me, Mr. Farmer, may I take a weed whacker to your cornfield?"
He actually told me to come back another day.
And Brett did come back, convincing Dale if we build it, they will come and maybe never leave.
There's actually 5 acres in the cornfield where the actual maize is cut out.
Brett designed the pattern on his computer and then...
And we just used a weed whacker with a saw blade on it.
Really?
And just went to town.
What are you going to do when you get kids who get lost in this thing?
We're going to leave them in here.
Of course, Dale's grandson proved a 5-year-old can make it through the maze in almost no time. How long will it take to get through it for the average moron like myself?
Probably average about 40 minutes or so.
Were you kind of freaked out when you were cutting this thing that you might screw it all up?
Yeah, actually I was. And there was a couple places I kind of did make a mistake, but I was able to kind of recorrect them.
You can't replant the maize at that point, though.
That's right. That's right.
So, you know,
I think we just hit a dead end.
A dead end somewhere near the words Gem State. Notice how Brett cut a diamond below the word gem, enough to impress even Dale Nixon.
It's amazing.
It's Brett Herbst's amazing cornfield maze. And if you get lost, somebody will come find you.
That's right. You just eat your way out.
John Miller, Idaho's News Channel 7.
Nearly 30 years. Yeah, Farmstead's been around for quite some time, but it hasn't always been in the same location, as you probably know. For a while, it was by the freeway where Topgolf currently sits. Then it moved to a field by Mountain View High School. Then in 2006, the Lowe family officially took over the farm, and they moved it to an area on Meridian Road. Stayed there for a few years before it was moved back to a spot by the freeway. Then just a few years ago, 6 to be exact, 2019, the family moved the farm to Kuna, where it currently sits today. And the maze has featured multiple different designs over the years. It's grown too. 5 acres that first year, now up to more than a dozen sometimes. This one from 2009 showing a penny with, of course, Abraham Lincoln and his connection to the Gem State. That's fitting. That was back in 2009. That one looks pretty clean, and you probably get lost in that one pretty easily. This one from 2018, 9 years later, showing Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, famous potatoes. That one is pretty elaborate and pretty cool, so you can see how much bigger it was and more elaborate the designs became over the years. This year, we're looking on America's aviation history for the maize design. Carved in the 2025 cornfield at Lowe's is an iconic P-40 Warhawk airplane in full dress, complete with the signature painted on teeth and face there in the nose. You can see as they kind of pan out a little bit. So it's another elaborate cornfield that you can enjoy, which is pretty awesome. Get out there. The fall 2025 season at Lowe Family Farmstead, that begins September 13th and runs all the way to October 30th.